There is a podcast about an island in the North Atlantic where people have been looking for an incredible treasure for more than 200 years.
Hello, and welcome back to Could It Be?
An Oak Island podcast.
We are your hosts, Deidre and Dustin White.
Hey.
Hey.
Crazy week, huh?
Oh, crazy.
And not just on Oak Island. How about at home?
Oh, geez. Yeah,
We've I wasn't feeling very good yesterday. I didn't know if we'd be able to record a podcast today, let alone we were wanted to do it yesterday.
Yeah.
But didn't happen. So we're here.
We're
and
here.
We have a fun episode of The Curse of Oak Island to chat
Oh,
about.
man. Always. But there's been so much going on this season.
Yeah, man. And I can't help but to I came into this episode thinking, wow, this is gonna be like the best, most amazing episode of all time. And I can't help but to feel a little let down afterward, because for me the 90-foot stone is like the thing, like that's what I'm most interested in. Like the treasure is great and I want them to find it, but I mean the 90-foot stone is the thing that, that's the first step for me. That's the stepping stone to get to the rest.
Yeah, so anytime someone mentions the 90-foot stone, you get a little like woo 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 or gobsmacked or whatever we want to say, because you're stoked about it.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why you're a little disappointed. But
I'm not
you'll
that
be
disappointed
okay.
because the whole episode was fun and entertaining and
It was fantastic.
and full. It was a full show.
Oh my gosh, so full. So much. Okay. Whew. Maybe we should start in by like area.
Okay, which area do you want to talk about first?
I think we need to dive straight into the swamp.
The swamp? The swamp it is.
I mean, we have the swamp doctor. We have everybody visits the swamp this episode. I think except for Terry.
Well, there's a few people we didn't see in the swamp. But
yes.
There's no Alex Lagina in this episode. There's
I
no
meant
Peter.
people that we saw within the episode. All those people visited.
Gotcha.
Sorry, I didn't clarify.
Yeah, you should.
Ooh.
I like specifics.
Sure. Swamp.
Doctor.
We start with Rick and Tom in the swamp.
Yeah, that was interesting, because Tom, we don't know his whole background and like how involved he was with his dad growing up, but he's been super interested in that swamp for like basically his entire life, right?
Oh yeah, he's well versed in swamp. I have no doubt he could be his very own swamp doctor.
Yeah, I guess, but he's out there looking at it, and they've cleared more since the last episode, and you can really tell that layer of the stone, the paved stone walkway or whatever they're calling it now. That's pretty impressive.
Yeah, seeing that profile is just, it's kind of like just a little crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, and it's like just looking at it, it's so obviously man-made. Like I don't think there's any question about it now.
No,
and there's no, nobody took records and notes of like, hey, the Restall family or people before that had doing work in the swamp like that. I mean, it's undocumented. Like, what is that? What is it for? It's crazy and it's incredible. It's just bonkers.
Whoever made it clearly never thought that someone was going to come back and pump the entire thing dry, as dry as you could get it, and find all their stuff. Like, that was just not, they didn't know Billy was in the future. Like, they didn't know.
I think Billy's the real hero of this episode. He's always the hero, but he's like the real hero of this
not
episode.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Sometimes they wear cargo shorts.
Yeah, sometimes like they wear polos and green t-shirts and go by Billy Gerhardt.
Billy is the hero. Like he's everywhere. He's when they go looking for the 90-foot stone, he's there.
Oh yeah.
When they, I guess he wasn't at the money pit, but they barely did anything in the money pit this episode.
He had stuff to dig.
He was busy.
Can y'all dig
it?
Yeah. Let's dig it.
Yeah, let's dig.
Okay. So they're out there, but I thought it was really neat with having Tom out there that that's got to be a little mind-blowing for him, because it's even beyond really what he would have ever imagined. With the time they've spent in the swamp, they were pulling up like survey stakes and the scuppers and this type of stuff, but who would have spot this. I mean, for a long time, many of us, like me and Marty, we needed convincing that there was anything of importance to do with the swamp at all. But
Well,
then to get into it now,
there's something major went down there. You don't put all
yeah.
that manpower and all those hours and probably years it took to make that stuff
Mm-hmm.
for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
So it's I hope we get good answers about it this year, but who knows? Might have to wait till next year.
Well, well, and we see like a little flash from when they went to the fort, um,
Yeah,
and
in Lewisburg.
hmm
Hmm.
and Doug and Rick are, they're in the war room. They're kind of showing what they had seen, and you get that profile of one of the floors that was excavated partway there, and then the one that's in the swamp, and they put them side by side.
They look almost identical.
It's a little mind blowing.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah, I
Hey, before we move on to that war room stuff, though, I
yeah.
had one little other note here about Rick was talking to Tom
Mhm.
about his dad
Mhm.
and how Fred Nolan. He said that his dad would have been amazed by this, but they never had the ability to do something like
Yeah.
that. But now they're doing it, and so it's cool that they can kind of follow up on all of Fred's hard work over the
Yeah.
decades to really, you know, hopefully get some real good answers at some point. But I mean, there's just so many more questions all of a sudden. It's
Mhm.
just it's crazy. But you know what that is? Classic Oak Island.
Classic Oak Island. Oh man.
Yep.
It's just yeah, it's just all mind boggling.
Yeah. So what else happened in the swamp?
Well, Dr. Ian Spooner,
The swamp doctor.
yeah, he gets stoked because you remember how last week we had the next week on and everybody's like slowing it down, trying to figure out what it is that he found, and we thought it was a bottle
A
or
message in a
a
bottle.
message in a bottle. For a second, there was one time I said, "It kinda just looks like a stick," and
Yeah, of course
I
you say
went,
that
"No, no, no,
now.
no,
No,
that's
she only
too."
says that now when she knows the answer.
Well, and
Whatever.
then I completely disregarded it and said, "No, there's no way. That's not a stick," and I convinced myself elsewise, and then when they showed it was a stick, I was like, "Well, we are very excited about that stick."
I'm excited about that stick.
I'm excited. I kind of, equate it to a shim, like when you're shimming a doorway or
Yep.
something
Hmm.
to
It's a
make
rock
the rock.
stopper
Yeah, well, it helps level
and
things.
pat it out.
Yeah, and a rock stopper. That's
Hmm.
a new term.
Trademark.
Are you gonna
5 cents
trademark
anytime anybody says it.
rock stopper?
Pay up.
Well, I got a change jar over here, so I'll be
Okay.
good.
All right. Yeah. I mean, it's cool though. I mean, they're gonna send that little piece that they found off for some carbon testing,
Mhm.
and who knows?
Yeah.
What if it's like dates to 16 whatever too? That'd be perfect.
Well, I had a note that Dr. Spooner said you date the wood,
Yeah.
you date the structure. I was like, well, bada bing, bada boom, holy crow.
Two birds,
Like,
one stone.
crow, two birds, one stone, or one piece of wood. That was good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Anyways,
Yeah, I liked that Dr. Spooner's back out there because he's like a real professional.
mhm.
He's not quick to say, "Oh yeah,
Yeah, he's
definitely
hesitant.
man-made," or "Oh my gosh, yeah, I mean, there's treasure under here." He's not going to put his reputation on the line for
Yeah.
something like that. So he gets out there, he observes, he figures out what needs to be. He knows what to look for
Mhm.
because it's his specialty. He
Mhm.
is the swamp doctor. He's all about the bog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was the one saying something of industrial size kind of went on there in 1680,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we're
To
just
1700,
yeah,
somewhere in
to
that ballpark.
1700s, and we're just like, whoa, this is definitely predating the discovery of the money pit,
Oh, by a long shot, yeah.
which that's a big deal.
Totally. 100%.
Totes. Which came first, the swamp or the money pit? The swamp.
Or the money
Maybe.
pit. Oh, maybe it's all done at the same time.
Maybe.
Maybe it is all really connected and the swamp is just the back door. They filled it in. Maybe they intended to come back one day and they knew how to get rid of the water at the swamp,
Shut it off.
get back into their little tunnel to get down there. I don't
No,
know.
it
Maybe
totally
maybe
makes
it leads
sense.
somewhere completely different, and the money pit was just a big diversion to get
Mm-hmm.
people to look the wrong way.
Yeah, maybe it was meant to be an air shaft, and then they were like, ha ha ha,
Suckers.
let's make it a booby trap.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, just a little bit further on what you were saying is, it looks like as we get a little bit further in the episode and they're talking about the swamp, when Jack and Gary are out there with Billy and they're trying to uncover more and figure out exactly what's going on, it very well looks like the eye of the swamp and the paved area
Could be connected.
could be, probably are.
The eye of the swamp bones connected to the whatever. Never mind.
Paved area.
Bone. To Dan's bone. You guys remember Dan's bone?
Oh, that was
man.
funny.
That was a good one
Because
back
he,
last
in
year.
the spoils and
Yeah.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
Yeah, so but Dr. Spooner was talking about how you're not going to find a rock or a stick pinched basically between two rocks like that naturally. It's not going to be like something over the time as things move around that rock or that stick would have fallen between the rocks like that. Not, it's just not going to happen.
Yeah, it's proof that it didn't happen because of a glacial period.
Yeah, I am reading it here. It couldn't have been transported glacially.
Yep.
In my notes. So
no, it makes total sense. It's a shim, yo. It's a shim.
Yeah. Well, it's fun that Rick says to him, "Hey, I'm going to ask you what I always ask Gary. How old is it? And when was this work done? So he said the swamp doctor says that it wasn't done in Mr. Nolan's time, wasn't done in Mr. Blankenship's time. It's very old. So I mean, old, yo.
Old, yo. Is that, are you gonna coin that one too?
No.
So
someone else has already said that.
How old is it? It's old, yo.
It's very old.
It just means because you relate everything to the discovery of the money pit of how old it is. So
something's like 1805, that's not that old. But if it's older than the discovery of the money pit, that's old.
It's old, yo.
Yo.
Like all one word.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So they're gonna carbon date it, come back to it at another point. But then we have almost immediately follow up with Gary and Jack, the dream team, back again.
Yeah, and with Billy. Like
that's like what is that? That's beyond a dream team.
That's like a dream team on steroids. Like this. Wow. But anyway, so they're like digging out there, and my favorite quote from Billy is, "Looks like rocks on top of rocks." I was like, yes, it does.
Hey, he's very scientific.
Well, I that's just it. He's to the point. It looks like rock on top of rocks, and he suggests, it getting cleaned off. It takes Jack about half a second to jump into the hole.
He's like, Geronimo.
Yeah, he totally pulls a Rick.
Yeah.
And jumps right in, and even Gary's surprised of how quick
he's
he
eager. He's like, I was missing the first half of the season. This is my time to shine.
Yeah, and he was like, ding, ding, ding. More rocks. Ding, ding, ding.
Yeah.
Looks like rocks on top of rocks.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes that Billy is a great director.
He is.
He's just like, boom, 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 done, done, done.
He's like an eagle eye. From where he's at, I feel like he sees things other people don't.
He has the vantage point.
Yeah. But it's still like far away from him. So he's got like...
He's probably got better than 20/20 vision. He's Billy.
Yeah, he's got Billy vision.
Yeah. Heck yeah, totally.
Okay, so then also swamp related, after all that excitingness, we get Steve, Rick, Craig all join everybody out there.
Yes.
Will you quit looking at the chat?
I got distracted by chat.
We don't address the chat during actual.
But we have like Bigfoot is in our chat.
Bigfoot's in our chat?
Larry Littlefoot.
Oh my gosh, it is. I know exactly.
We're going hunting for your treasure tomorrow, Larry
That's
Littlefoot.
right, Larry Littlefoot.
We're going to find it too.
Oh, we are. We'll be up and down bright and early. Okay, so for those of you that don't know, this is new this year. We have started doing our podcast live on our Facebook page, and then we take the audio and work it up to upload it so that you can still listen to it anywhere you get your podcasts, whether it be Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher,
all the
Spotify,
things.
all the places. So
Yeah.
you can still get it there. But now people are starting to join us more often during the live portion.
Mhm.
And Dustin's just getting sidetracked. It's
Yeah.
like he sees a squirrel and he's like,
Well, I saw
looking.
Bigfoot. That's even better.
Yeah, he
That's way
sees
better.
Bigfoot and, well, Littlefoot, technically.
Larry Littlefoot.
Larry
Yeah.
Littlefoot. And that's why he wasn't responding, and I was getting annoyed he wasn't paying attention to my talking.
I got distracted.
Yeah, I know. Shiny.
Okay, look, I have really
Holy
bad
crow.
vision. I have
Yeah.
really bad vision.
You
and
don't
I
have
to,
Billy vision.
I look over there and I see like something fuzzy, and I'm like, Bigfoot's always fuzzy, right? When anybody tries to take a picture of him, he's like a blur, and it was a blur, and I was like, what? I had to do a double take, and you were upset, but that's okay.
I don't understand what's happening
I don't
right
either.
now.
Hey, you know what? So let's just talk about this real quick. It's a little side note here. We're going on a treasure hunt tomorrow.
Yes.
Expedition Treasure Hunt is like this new Facebook, or I guess it's a website, right? But they have a Facebook page
group.
where they, talk about these cool treasure hunts.
Correct? Yeah, so they put on treasure hunts.
They put on treasure hunts, and they've done a few in the Pacific Northwest, in Washington State, in the past few weeks. We participated 2 weeks ago in some of them. They were a lot of fun.
I got sick from treasure hunting too hard. Remember that story?
Yeah, she got sick from treasure hunting too hard. We were like this close to a couple of them. Our kids slowed us down. No offense. I love you, kids. They're the best.
Yes.
But they were not into it. And so we're not doing it with the kids tomorrow. We're going just us. We're going to find this thing. It's somewhere. It's worth money.
We better.
It's worth the money.
So that's our Valentine's gift.
That's our date.
Other. That's our date. Is going treasure hunting.
So yeah.
So there's that. So. Okay. So now that we have gone on that tangent, our first tangent of the episode, because Larry Littlefoot
go to Expedition Treasure Hunt, check them out, follow them. They'll come to you some point, not to you, but like to your area.
Larry Littlefoot's coming to your house.
They'll come to your area at some point, and they will totally put on a treasure hunt, and you can participate and be cool like us, right?
Yeah, totally.
Maybe you'd be cool like Deidre. I don't know. I'm not that cool, but that's fine. All right, sorry, I was distracted.
Yeah,
where we at?
Anywho, so where were we? We were talking about the connection between and Billy Eagle Eyes seeing his rocks on top of rocks, and then I said that Steve, Rick, and Craig joined the party.
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, if only I wish Steve would have been in front, because he's like Moses, with his staff. Like, let my people go.
Yeah.
Drain my swamp.
It was funny because he's coming up behind them. Yeah. And my first thought was that he was shepherding them. Yeah, so he was like pushing his people through the swamp. That
works too.
Instead, he was like, why do you guys keep, he's like bringing up the tail end. Yeah. So he's leading the exodus through the swamp.
Sure.
Anyways, so Steve and the Prison Pole of Truth show up, and Rick has Steve get into the giant hole and take an elevation, which is 1 foot below sea level. And then the other part of
the paved stone area
was 2 feet below. So it was kind of like,
that's pretty consistent. I mean, I'm glad it wasn't like 5 feet difference or something.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
I mean, it could just be simply like a step, 1 step down,
It could be a gradual grade for all we know.
It could be a grade, yeah, like a ramp.
A ramp? Sense. You mean like for those giant carts full of gold?
Yeah.
Yeah. We saw carts from when they went to Lewisburg, and they had these giant wheels.
Yeah, like 5 feet tall wheels.
Yeah, 5 foot tall. So we're talking wheels like my height.
It makes them easier to go over the cobble. So makes sense.
It does. So I'm just saying. It's a thing. So it means that our favorite animation with the wheeling of the carts full of gold, it's only a little inaccurate.
Because they would have had a giant wheels.
Yeah, because they would have had giant wheels instead of little tiny ones.
You think one person could have still pushed it?
Yeah, I do.
I don't. I don't at all. Hey, but in case you haven't seen it yet, go to our Facebook page.
Yes.
And Deidre clipped out that animation, and it'll be a few posts back, but it's worth looking at again because it's funny.
It is.
As this like pirate like pushing this.
And we reference it all the time.
Yeah, we reference it all the time. So it'd be a good thing to
It's only shown
look
up
at.
like once or twice ever in this season, but it's still my favorite.
It's funny.
Yeah,
Totally funny.
It's good stuff. Okay, so I think we're pretty much wrapped up in that part of the swamp.
Well, they do go back to the swamp area one more time, and that's with Gary and Jack doing some additional metal detecting, and they find something.
Yeah, around the eye.
Right near the eye of the swamp. What did they find?
Tools.
Tunneling tools?
Yeah. A
Potentially?
pickaxe and a flat edge spade.
Yeah, it looks like a shovel, end of a shovel. I wonder how old that stuff is.
Yeah.
You know, Gary said they looked very old, and he suspected that due to the length of the picks on the pickaxe, that it was probably more for tunneling rather than, just
precise.
Doing other things, because the picks were shorter.
Yeah.
I don't know. One of them looked like maybe it was broken, and the other one was longer. But I mean, I've seen longer pickaxes. So
see, but I've never used a pickaxe for tunneling. So maybe it was longer, and then it's like they got shorter as they kept chipping away, and the rock fought back.
You know what? I guarantee you. Well, okay, maybe not guarantee.
Yeah, don't guarantee.
I don't know. I feel really good about it. I bet you Carmen Lake's going to tell us all about it next episode.
No
because
doubt.
We know they're going to see him about whatever they find in the swamp from next episode, because they showed it in the next time on the Curse of Oak Island.
Yeah.
So they're gonna get some answers about
on
it.
To me, what I put that thing looked like, it looks like a crowbar.
That's what I wrote too. Literally, I wrote, let me see. Gary and Jack metal detect in the swamp found something that looks like a crowbar. They take it to Carmen Lake, and he says it's something that was in a very hot, sustained fire to make.
I don't know what that actually means. I'm sure he'll tell us the relevance, which is fantastic.
And guess what? I understood Carmen Lake just fine without subtitles on the next time on the Curse of Oak Island. So
me too.
I don't think he needs them.
Something that was funny that Gary said was that they were in an old tool shed from the 1700s.
Maybe.
It gave me a good chuckle.
That's funny.
I was like, oh yeah, well, if they found a crowbar there too, maybe it was the old tool shed. Maybe the eye of the swamp is just a tool shed.
That's where Gary's like, ha, 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 giving someone the elbow to the rib or something.
Wait,
ribbing them.
Okay.
Yeah,
that just seemed like it didn't fit in the context, but okay.
It does. Don't worry. All right, so I mean, that kind of wraps up the swamp.
Yeah.
There's a lot of activity, a lot of fun on the swamp, a lot of discovery, a lot of Billy, saying boom, 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 pointing
Billy's directing. Billy sees rocks on top of rocks. Billy sees the things.
That was literally the dream team of Oak Island, the three of those guys. So good job, guys.
Nicely done.
And then
as if they need our approval.
And then the rest of the squad comes in too, So it's good.
I don't know. It was awesome to see the prison pole of truth out there doing its thing. He's like, what did Rick say? Stick your bar in there. I was like, it's not a bar. It's a prison pole of truth. From the remnants of the Eye of Ra.
Staff of Ra.
Staff of Ra.
Okay, if you don't know what she's talking about, it's part of the little story on the back of Steve Guptill's card.
Yes.
Because, we haven't talked about it much lately, but we're still doing these fun trading cards.
Yep.
These Oak Island trading cards. And you can get yours at patreon.com/OakIslandPodcast. But we have these fun trading cards where they have these little stories on them. The front of the card is pretty epic. It shows Steve Guptill's in particular shows him on a horse.
Yeah. Well, with his horse.
His horse, and he's dressed as a knight, and he's Sir Stephen Guptill, the royal cartographer, because he's a map where he maps stuff out. He is a surveyor, and we play around a little bit with kind of what they do on the island, and then we have these fun little stories on the back. And on the back of his card, it talks about how his you always see him walking around with his staff, and and we looked up some surveying equipment, and there's something called a prism pole, and so we said, oh, that's the prism pole of truth, obviously.
Yes, obviously.
And so and part of the story is that it was forged from the remnants of the Staff of Ra. And anyway,
you see in Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's just a fun little thing. And all of the cards have little fun stories on them like
Oh
that.
yeah, they're good
So,
stuff.
yeah, they're killer. If you want them, patreon.com/OakIslandPodcast.
Truth.
So, yeah, prison pole truth. Yeah. So, just a little bit of an explanation of what she's going on about.
What I'm
And then I have to go on about
rambling
that.
on.
So,
Oh, whatever. You went off on Larry Littlefoot.
I did. That's fine.
You did.
It's fine.
Okay, so let's move on to the next area, the money pit.
Yes.
Okay, so Terry's hanging out in the money pit.
Terry and Craig was hanging out with him.
Charles was there too.
Charles too. So,
and they're working on, was it G 10.5?
Sure.
Or 10 and a half, 10, yeah, whatever. So they're working on that.
Yeah, but I mean, like nothing really happened. Like so they sonic drilled.
Yeah.
And so they drilled. I think they said they about 5 feet away from where they had done the drilling that found that other piece of wood.
Mm-hmm.
And so to me, I'm thinking, man, 5 feet, that's kind of a lot. Like, shouldn't they have moved maybe like 6 inches or a foot, or like maybe baby step it? Maybe they're trying to go beyond baby steps to try to fast forward getting to the end. But
Well,
it
they're
seemed to
trying to
me,
find the other wall.
I know, but well, I don't know. It just seemed like they were going a little bit too much, like back to the guesswork, the thing that they were trying to avoid.
I highly doubt that was.
It just seemed like it to me as a viewer
Mhm.
that doesn't know anything about the workings of the island and the sonic drilling program.
That's fair. But what they were saying with the other one is that they were thinking they were skimming the side of part of the cribbing from the money pit. So they must have something about certain dimensions that would say, okay, 5 feet away, we should be hitting another
Yeah,
cribbing or whatever it is,
sure.
which would be my guess. But like you said, they drill down. And let's see, where was I? Okay. And the core, as they're going down, has this sudden decrease in resistance. And it's like, oh, that's exciting.
Yeah, between 109 feet and 119 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Pull it up. And it's like, wah, wah.
Well, they pull it up because they go further than that. Then they
Yeah.
pull up what they did have. And what they did have was soil between 120 and 125 feet.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry examined it and he said, yeah, that's undisturbed.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not really what we want to see at this point.
Mm-mm.
We want to see something that's disturbed so that we knew that people were there.
Mm-hmm.
People haven't touched this stuff. So,
Mm-hmm. But Craig
it's kind of a
brings up
strikeout.
an interesting point that I hadn't thought of, is with it being undisturbed but loosened like that, then it's very likely they're near something that would have caused
A
some
disruption of some kind.
yeah, a disruption of some kind, whether it be
Yeah.
the money pit or whatever. And I
Yeah.
didn't think about the fact that like those vibrations and such would cause that.
Okay.
But okay,
I
yeah.
must have missed that.
Sorry.
It's okay.
That's what I'm here for. I'm here to help you fill in the gaps.
Thank you.
Anytime. One team, one dream.
Yeah, thanks. I mean, that's kind of all that happened in the money pit this episode, though.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they said, okay, let's stop and we're going to move a foot and a half a different direction. And that was it.
And then they're going to do that, I guess. Maybe next
I
week.
believe them.
All right. So let's talk about that trip to Lewisburg.
Okay.
Because that was something to discuss more at the top of the show, but
Yeah.
we've jumped around it a little bit.
On it, yeah.
Yeah, we touched on it a little bit, but something they didn't show in the last episode was that still image of the French drain that they have. They had like a still image of a French drain at Lewisburg, and I mean, it looked like there was an actual like almost drainage pipe, but not a pipe, but like a like a square hole. But then it was surrounded by all those rocks, and I mean, it looked. I don't know what it looked like. What it looked like to you? It looked pretty reminiscent of some of the stuff we've seen on the island.
Are you talking about what I said at the beginning with the like side by side images?
Maybe.
And you were like, "Oh yeah, that looks."
Oh well, I'm talking. I thought you were talking about the side by side images of the flats paved area with the like in that little archway, like in
Mhm.
that doorway.
Oh, you were
I
thinking
was thinking you're talking
inside
about
there.
inside that
No,
doorway. Yeah.
where we see like a profile dug down on both of them.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so now we're talking about the same thing.
Okay.
But yeah, that to me is uncanny.
Yeah. I don't know if I was so like I'm convinced that it could be very similar, but I was I don't know, because it was more of like a box shape rather than like the little teepee
Mhm.
kind of shape. But I mean, maybe you just got to work with the time you've got. Maybe they don't have as much time to make it all pretty and stuff on Oak Island like they did in Lewisburg.
Well, you got to consider making rock shaped like a teepee. This is going to take less material than a square,
It's true.
right?
Hmm.
So if you have less material at your disposal, then you're going to say, okay, what's the most efficient way to quickly do this
Sure.
and with less material? And to me, that shape would cause that. So,
Sounds good.
so why not? And if they'd already built one at Lewisburg before, they know what works and what didn't work. They already did trial run.
Yeah, and it was something probably never intended to be found, right? And so
Yeah,
they don't there's no cosmetic, like it needs to be
needs to
covered over
function.
and just function, and that's it,
Mm-hmm.
so in Lewisburg, like when you look in that archway where they have like some drainage system
Mm-hmm.
and paved areas and stuff, it's like it's basically pretty, it's
Mm-hmm.
like it's presentable, it looks nice. That's not something they would have desired on Oak Island because they don't want to draw eyes to it, they want to keep people away,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
Well, you talk about like the square versus the triangle. Well, you have to remember also if they intended to cover up these drains, right? The triangle is a stronger shape than a square. It's going to be able to sustain more weight
Hmm.
and stay within that shape over a longer period of time. So, same reason that like trusses are triangles, not squares,
That makes sense.
in case you're wondering.
Yeah,
Just
good job.
a little tidbit of information there.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. You're welcome. Okay. Anything else about that trip you want to add?
Not really, just I thought it was a fun trip. I'm glad they revisited it a little bit,
It's a fun trip. Did you go?
I wish. Maybe in May. Probably not going to make it to Lewisburg though,
No, we won't. I don't think so.
but we're
But
making it to Oak Island,
if we fly, since we're gonna fly into Halifax, maybe we should drive by the old bookbindery on our way.
That's definitely happening. 100%.
Oh, I can't
Maybe they'll
wait.
let us explore the basement and look for the 90-foot stone. I'll find it. I'll help.
Um,
I want to help.
I don't think they're just gonna let some random podcaster that walks in be like, "Hey, can I come dig through your basement? It'll be
I want
fun."
to help.
Yeah, they've already dug through the basement. Dug through the basement. Okay.
Yeah, okay. All right, so what's next?
The museum, like
Yes.
where the Dartmouth Heritage Museum.
Yeah,
You want to talk about that? Because I know you were highly disappointed.
I am. I
Wah,
was.
wah.
Yeah,
Hey, I called it.
this is like my shortest note area in my notes, like,
Really?
yeah, because like nothing happened. It's like it's a big old nothing burger.
Big old nothing
Yeah.
burger. Well, there was a lot of rocks.
So they tried to find the 90-foot stone, right?
Yes. They finally got their permits.
They say it was an olive colored flat slab, and that's what they're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
And Billy's up there in his little backhoe. He's not in the big
Little.
old excavator.
Yeah, that's true.
He's up there, and Rick tells him, "All right, we got the permits. Let's do a 20-foot by 20-foot area and just dig it up." I mean, 20-foot by 20-foot, that's pretty sizable.
Yeah, and my first thought is 20 inches by 20 inches because we're used to only being able to dig small holes for buried treasure. I was like, oh wait, 20 feet.
Yeah.
And it dawns on me, I'm like, that is a very big area.
Yeah.
Because he wants to get a feel for what all the ground looks like. Like, I hope someone GPR'd before they did that.
Yeah, it was just crazy. So we had Laird there, Doug was there, Rick and Billy, and then they start digging, and there's just so many rocks everywhere. Like the whole thing is full of boulders. Like
Mm-hmm.
I literally put in my notes. I think there was like a million rocks, you know?
But they weren't just small rock. I mean, they were big
Yeah.
rocks. Like, example, my mom's soil is very rocky. Like, it's full of big
Like
rocks, but not
Yo Adrian? Like
boulders.
Yo Adrian?
Not rocky, like rocks. Like, rock on,
like
man.
like Rocky's Pizza?
No,
Uh,
you need to calm down over
okay.
there. Anyways, and I just kept thinking, there's no way like one of those giant boulders is
The 90-foot stone?
no.
I know, but it's just, to me, that's like looking for a needle in a haystack at that point, you know? Like all all there is like you just have to figure out, you have to pull out like every big boulder and be like, I don't know. It's just, it seemed like there was too many examples of something that could be it. But I mean,
Mhm.
every time they go to dig and they find something, they scrape against something, like, ooh, they get excited, you know, like
Mhm.
this could be it. And it's like, I don't know.
But you're looking for something that would have been flat. You know, they did hit one that had a decent flat side, but it was very curved underneath and it would have been too big, right? Something that would have been buried at the 90-foot platform or whatever isn't going to be so heavy that it's going to cause your platform to cave in. So, I don't know. I
I feel
think
you, but
that the Creightons took it with them.
they probably did. But they did have the guy that gave them the tip
Mhm.
to go there, Kevin Rideout.
Mhm.
He was on hand, and or I don't know if he came later or whatever, but they're already digging this big hole. And then Kevin Rideout's like, "Oh, the elevation changed.
Mhm.
You guys need to dig deeper to find the elevation. You know, to get down to the
Mhm.
elevation of where the rock was at the time." And I'm thinking to myself, "Did you tell him that to begin with? You know?"
No, that's just editing and
Yeah.
storytelling. You know that, they had that conversation, but he does make a good point about the elevation being different and that potentially those rocks that we were seeing were backfill
Yeah.
because the property itself slopes down in a way from that kind of cliff edge
Hmm.
and it was much lower at the time, and then as we see the elevation raise, it would make sense to put big boulders like that in there to help things drain off and not cause your house to go running down the hill. So, I could see why they'd wanna dig down even deeper, but man, that's just I don't know. It was a big nothing burger, which is sad.
It was very sad. Like I had my hopes up, you know,
I
and
know.
they got crushed.
I tried to crush them before they got up too high, but you were just like, "I want them up there."
I just want the 90-foot stone to be found. Like that's
We
my dream for these
gotta
guys.
figure out where they went after they sold the property. I'm telling you, it's probably a good lead.
So I know I love your theory of them getting ready to leave and taking. So they leave the area, they take the 90-foot
Mhm.
stone, they plant that rhododendron in that hole, and they're just like, oh, ta-da! No,
Yeah,
now no one will ever
seriously.
know what happened to it.
Exactly. It
I
just
know.
looks like you're improving the property for resale value, not hiding, where you took the 90-foot stone out of the
I
ground.
know. Well, the guys are like saying, "Well, I guess we didn't find it. Peace out, landscaping crew. Get in here." you know.
Right?
I wonder. You were saying, "Oh, I wonder if Billy's
I
company went in there to
I
fix it all
bet
up."
you anything
I don't
Billy's
know.
guys came in.
Billy's construction. You know, he's not like
He's
landscaping, is he?
property improvement.
Okay,
Have you
maybe.
read the side of the vehicles?
I think so. I
No,
don't
you
really
have not, or
recall.
else you would have known it was for property improvement. And besides, remember Rick said, once we're done digging this up, we'll make it look better, right? So, of
Hmm.
course, Billy's going to come.
Yep.
Billy saves the day. That's what he does.
I hope so.
No, he does.
Yeah. I was disappointed, but whatever. I mean, I still think that other thing they found was the 90-foot stone now.
The one with the L in on it.
Yeah, it had something carved on it. It's interesting.
Just because Laird put his initials up in the corner doesn't mean that that was it.
Well, it doesn't mean it's not it.
That's true. I think it was a decoy.
I don't know. Maybe.
Okay, let's
I think that's like, oh, all we have left is the testing, right?
yep. Okay,
So
C14 testing, right?
for the wood that they found that they think may have come from the original money pit.
Could it
Dun
be?
dun
Yeah.
dun.
So Craig is excited and says the results are interesting. They're good. They're intriguing.
What years do you think that? What, according to the testing, what years could this be from?
So we're looking at between 1626 and 1680.
Yeah, and I admire these guys for being willing to put like capture these
Yeah, the
the
results.
results on camera. Like
Mhm.
that takes some guts, you know, to be able to show what the actual results were like
Mhm.
on camera, like the paperwork that he's holding up. I thought that was really cool
Yeah.
because I'm looking at it here. Like I took a screenshot of it, and it says, you know, with 95.4% probability, the most likely result was that 1626 to 1680 result. That's
Mhm.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, there's other results that it could be,
Mhm.
but they're much lower as far as percentage goes. So
Mhm.
there's high probability that 1626 to 1680 is correct, and that's exciting.
That
That's
is
old.
that is really exciting, and what I loved is, Marty pointing out, well, that's Dr. Ian Spooner's,
Magical number.
that's his date too, so the 1680.
80-ish.
Yeah, and Gary goes on to say, so what was happening in the late 1600s, early 1700s here on Oak Island? We're talking about before these towns and such were really populated heavily, and it really makes you think.
Makes you think.
It's
I'm thinking.
it's crazy. It's all mind-blowing.
Yeah, it's more than 100 years before the discovery of the money pit. That's what that dates to.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
that's why it's so impressive. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean, Gary
Whoa.
Gary says that those dates are bloody fantastic.
Bloody fantastic. I bet you Rick was gobsmacked.
Well, Rick says that it begs for further investigation.
Always. Always further
And so that's all I've
investigation.
got for the notes.
Yep, me too, except for the next time on.
The Curse of Oak Island. So what do you got?
Okay, they're digging in Smith's Cove.
Mm-hmm.
And what it looks like to me is it's alongside Mike's box,
Yeah.
right? Where the logs are. And we see Rick like picking up a log.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like it's got like sand or clay in between. And
Yep.
so they're like dissecting it. And of
Basically.
course, we get the scene where it's like, whoa, like
Oh,
something's caving in,
some kind
right?
of collapse. Yeah.
And the question is, was that Mike's box? It also looked like in that little capture there, it was the same type of boards that we saw around Billy's wall
Mm.
with the kind of thin planking, but that may have been around Mike's box too.
Yeah, I thought it was Mike's box when I was looking at it.
hmm
But
And
I also saw a
yeah.
quick shot of digging in the swamp. There was like
hmm
a drone shot of that,
hmm
and then there was a shot of Marty
hmm
digging in Smith's Cove and finding a large timber with a notch.
And what I thought was interesting when saw Marty digging in Smith's Cove, if you kind of look in the background, it looked like he was actually on the upper beach
Mm.
section.
Yeah, he was kind of far
Yeah,
from
he was
the
kind of
bump out and
behind
everything.
trees,
Yeah,
and then you see that the bump out and all of that. So I'm wondering if they hit something where they potentially have a convergence point, and that whatever it
fingers
was a
crossed.
new structure that was big
Yeah,
with a notch out of it. This season gets wilder and wilder.
yeah,
I just
and it's about to get even wilder because it's about to boldly go where no man has gone before. Right?
that's right.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's quite the
It's quite the season.
yeah.
I mean, we're on episode 13. Whoa. Like,
Whoa,
whoa.
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 Who said that? Is that like a Joey from Blossom
Yeah,
thing? Yeah.
that was a Joey from Blossom
Whoa.
thing.
Yeah. Well, you know, I'm not gonna do it. I was gonna play some of the make it so, make it so, make it
No,
so, you know, but because it's that he's one of the captains from Star Trek.
I know.
But we have the other captain coming real soon,
Mhm.
Captain Kirk,
Mhm.
right? That's been exciting news this week.
Yeah, so that is next week, right? So we
I think
have
it might be another 2 weeks actually. I
2
think that's on the
weeks?
25th. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, yes, yes. Okay. So then that means so next week Oak Island is regular time. Think about our live ahead of time.
Mm-hmm.
So we do our Oak Island pregame an hour before it airs, and means we're gonna have to do it an hour before Captain Kirk too.
Yeah. So William Shatner is visiting Oak Island, and it's like on a special drilling down episode, and I don't know what he's gonna because I think he's promoting his own show. It's called The Unexplained, I think, and I guess he's into Oak Island, so it's exciting.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and go into our next section.
Clotworthy
time.
All right, so last week we had kind of a landslide. I looked at the numbers.
Yeah.
And can you tell us what won?
Yeah, let me tell you which clotworthy moment won.
Tunnels laid out in the shape of a cross?
Yeah, that was the obvious winner.
It won by a landslide, a tunnel slide.
Yeah, I think it was like 78% to 22%. So yeah, that's pretty big margin. But it was a good one, so I enjoyed it.
I did too, and apparently everybody else did. All right, so this week we have 2 new clotworthy moments for you to vote on. Okay?
No way. 2? For sure?
Could it be? Okay, here's the first one.
All right, let's hear it.
An old iron pickaxe, possibly used for tunneling, and found near the eye of the swamp?
I like that.
Could it be?
It could be.
It could be for tunneling.
It could be for tunneling.
Swamp. I hear it's perfectly great tunneling material.
Yep.
Okay, ready for the next one?
All right, what is it up against?
A round point spade dating back to the 1700s and found alongside an old iron pickaxe in the swamp?
So you got pickaxe time too.
So I figured I was going Clotworthy Tool Shed edition.
Yeah, you're really celebrating Gary's tool shed.
Yeah, I feel like, the eye of the tool shed was, and if my second one could reference the first Clotworthy moment, I thought that was fun. It was like a new circle of joy.
Wow. Sounds like fun.
So let's vote on tools.
Yes, let's vote. So you can vote for your favorite Clotworthy moment. And all you have to do is go to www.facebook.com/OakIslandPodcast. Find the post we make about the Clotworthy moment.
Yes.
Click on the image that you think is the best one.
Yes.
Because we have little images and it's easy to vote. You just click and you're done.
That is a great way to tally the vote. They can also do it on Twitter. You just find us at Oak Island Podcast.
Nope.
Oak Island Pod.
Oak Island Pod.
Minus the cast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because that's too long for Twitter.
Sorry. You'll find us by then.
Yep. So you go there, vote, and then next week we will give you the results of the new Clotworthy moment champion.
And of course, we just do it for fun because it's amazing and that's how we roll. But what we did discover.
We did discover something kind of crazy thanks to one of our listeners.
Yes. So, this just blew my mind. Apparently, Robert Clotworthy does not narrate all the Curse of Oak Island episodes.
He doesn't. And I'm sorry if this quality isn't as good as what you just heard of Robert Clotworthy, but this is a sample of at least what the narrator sounds like in
the UK.
So this is from our listener in the UK named Rich. And we want to thank him very much for giving us this information. And we're also wondering, why didn't anybody else tell us? Because we have listeners, we have lots of listeners in the UK and all over the world. And, I think about it now, people that are listening and maybe or watching, I don't know if they localize it for India or whatever, because we have listeners in India too.
Yeah.
Robert Clotworthy is probably not.
Yeah, not the guy.
Doing the narration. But anyway, here is a sample of the narration from the UK. You ready? Here we go.
There is an island in the North Atlantic Ocean where people have been searching for an incredible treasure for over 200 years.
When you heard that,
whoa!
When I first played that for Deidre, her mind almost exploded.
It melted.
Yeah, she was like, "No way!" That is not Robert Clotworthy.
Wow.
Here's another taste.
Could it be connected to the large ship-shaped anomaly that was discovered by seismic scanning last year?
That was a could it be?
Yeah, I know. Whoa.
All right, we got one more taste. Let's hear it.
Using a 40-ton excavator, Billy Gerhardt will carefully dig along the suspected path of the rock feature.
Billy Gerhardt.
I loved hearing about Billy, but wow.
Please tell us if there is yet another narrator somewhere else we don't know about.
Yeah, we need some clips of that.
Yes, please. And I don't know the name of this guy, but my mind is blown. So we've been doing these clot-worthy moments, which are not relevant to people in the UK, apparently, because Robert Clotworthy doesn't exist
It's okay.
to them over there.
They still could have fun with it too, though.
No, they can too. But can you imagine them listening to a clot-worthy
they're
moments?
They're like, that part of the episode just doesn't make sense to me, guys.
Yeah, they had an epiphany before us that there was a different narrator.
Yeah, crazy.
Mind blowing. So we wanted to share that with you.
Yeah. Crazy.
Got anything else for this week?
Well, we have a voicemail, but we're not going to be able to play it this week. Maybe we'll get to it next week. And I just wanted to say, if you wanted to leave us a voicemail, we will get to it.
Yes.
And hopefully, even if we have 2 or 3 of them next week, that's totally fine. We're short on time today. You can leave us a voicemail at 360-836-4549.
Correct.
And you can email us. Actually, there's one thing I haven't discussed this even with you yet.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Well, I'm thinking, okay, we have this chat room open on the side when we're doing our live show, right?
Yes.
I was thinking, I don't know if any of our listeners that are our usual listeners that are in the chat, or if you want to be that person, email us at OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com. Maybe what I would like to do, okay, is have somebody cultivate some of the best comments and questions that are in the chat, and maybe they can send me a message toward the end of our podcast while we're doing it live, and give me what they think maybe the best comments and questions, and then if there's questions, I could read them, and then we could talk about them at the end of the episode. I think that could be fun.
Could be fun. Maybe we'll just have to do a whole different we already have a pregame live. We have our podcast we're doing live. Apparently we just hop on live occasionally and
answer those things. So you want to do maybe a little bonus thing where we just answer the questions?
Maybe, if there's good questions.
Yeah, so if you're interested in this helping us out, maybe cultivating some of those questions, reach out to us, OakIslandPodcast@gmail.com. And there's one more thing I want to talk about before we go. Oh, we have a friend. His name's John Michaels.
Oh, yeah.
He started a brand new podcast.
He did.
And so we just wanted to show him our support and say, hey, if you guys are into this kind of podcast, maybe you could tune in. And he told me how to explain it. He said he's a 30-year veteran, tour manager, and audio engineer. And he sits down with musicians and professionals in the music business to discuss the inner workings of concerts and unique experiences that happen in the entertainment industry.
Whoa.
Yeah. So
smart guy.
Yeah. I mean,
his podcast is called Soft Pass.
Yeah. Soft Pass Podcast.
Yes. So we can throw a link into our show notes too. So if that sounds like a podcast you want to check out, and you should, go click on it and you'll be able to check it out.
Totally. And then there's actually one more thing.
What?
It's also with John Michaels.
More John Michaels.
Yeah. So John Michaels is somebody that's very relevant, and he's like a treasure hunter, right? Like us. And he's really into The Secret, like us. But a year ago today, he launched a tribute to The Secret treasure hunt, right?
Yes.
And so he's celebrating the 1-year anniversary of that today, but he launched a brand new a brand new treasure hunt today.
Yes.
It's called the Sunset Trail. And it's there's this story and MP3 file, and there's clues in it, and you could go find a treasure. I haven't really looked at it at all yet, but I just know that it launched today. So we're going to be looking at this, but we wanted to make everybody else aware of it. It's brand new, just launched today. You could get on the ground floor of a treasure hunt. So we recommend going to Mysterious Writings. They have a write-up about it.
Yep.
And looking for the Sunset Trail, a brand new treasure hunt. So
fantastic. We'll have to chat about it on Boots and Armchairs.
Yeah, we definitely need to. So, anyway, we just wanted to throw that stuff out there.
Yep.
Do you have anything else?
I don't. All right.
I guess that's the end of the episode today.
Guess that's it.
Oh, happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, yes. Happy Valentine's Day. So until next time.
Could it be?
What is going on here?
None of it makes any sense.